Good morning. Hello. I am Melissa Agnes, and this is Morning Lives with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space to help leaders just like you stay grounded and connected in your inner strength and your inner resilience, in what is real and actually true and matters as you move the mountains and drive the purpose that you are here to move and to drive. So for those of you who are doing work that matters and you want to lead with unwavering steadiness, increased clarity, deeper connection to yourself, to that clarity I just mentioned, to kind of divine intelligence and wisdom, infinite wisdom, and as well as to connection to those that you are leading, which is critically important, then this is the space for you. So every morning I share one perspective, one truth that is aimed to inspire you or empower you, and empower you. And I love widening perspectives, right? Like we all kind of see things the way that we see them, and we don't know to see them differently unless we widen our perspective and we intake new information and we kind of process through that and decide for ourselves what we want to keep and what doesn't resonate for us. And that opportunity to do so, to do that, to widen our perspective is such an incredibly important opportunity or thing to do, skill set, as well as is so expansive, right? And as you're here on the missions that you're here on and moving the mountains that you're moving, that's so important. So that is what I am here to do every morning. And then we follow that with a grounded drop-in where we get into coherence, we get into alignment, we get into clarity, so that you can lead your day in your most potent power. Okay, here's what I want to share today very quickly, and then I want to do a deeper drop-in, but I also want to give you an opportunity to ask questions today. So if you have questions from past topics that we've had on this episode or on this show, or if you have questions of things that you're going through in your life or your own perspective that you're analyzing and you kind of want to share to deepen that conversation, to widen your processing and the expansion of like how you think about that thing or how you approach it or whatever it might be, I kind of want to do that. I want to do that today. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments. And if you have questions in the future that you don't really want to put in the comments, but you'd like for me to tackle, send them to me, DM them to me. If you are not registered to receive morning emails and text messages that say, hey, I'm about to go live, here's the link, and you'd like to be registered to that, put in the comments the word remembrance and we'll get you set up. And then that's another direct access to me that you can leverage to ask questions. And if you ask me questions, I promise I will respond. And I anonymously will bring, or with anonymity, I will bring them here to actually answer them for you, or do my best to answer them for you, right? I don't have all the answers, but I definitely have perspective. So the thing that I want to share this morning is, yesterday we talked about the power, we talked about a bunch of things, but one of the things that we talked about was the power of vulnerability. Vulnerability being a gateway to connection being the goal. Connection to yourself, connection to others that you're leading, and connection to infinite wisdom, right? So that clarity, the guidance that we seek as leaders when we have to have the answers that nobody else has. And I want to kind of go a little bit deeper into that area of vulnerability, because vulnerability feels very scary to the nervous system, for lack of a better way of saying that. Vulnerability feels like a weakness, and it's not. In fact, in Crisis Ready, I teach that I disagree with the definition of vulnerability from the internet, or from the dictionary. The definition of vulnerability in the dictionary is one type of vulnerability, but it is not the entirety of what vulnerability is. And so in the dictionary, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially it calls it weakness. And so therefore we have this perspective that being vulnerable is being weak, is showing weakness. Now, that could be true in some cases, but what's also true, because two things can be true, what's also true is that when you open up and you are courageous enough to be vulnerable, incredible things happen that align with deeper connection. And this is true for your leadership in both your own self as well as how you lead and how you connect with others. So this doesn't mean there's a difference between, for example, being emotional and being emotive, right? So I think people kind of distinguish vulnerability as being, as a leader, if you show vulnerability, you're going to show weakness. It probably means that you're like crying on a podium and just saying how scared you are, right? That's an over-exaggeration a little bit, but let's go with it. That is being emotional versus emotive. Emotive means that you are allowing yourself to be seen as a real human, right? In times of crisis, in times of uncertainty, in times of driving your mission forward, you're going to have moments, because you're human, of wobble, which we talked about yesterday. You're going to have self-doubt. You're going to have doubt maybe in the success of the mission altogether. You're going to have insecurities. You're going to have uncertainty. You're not going to have all of the answers to all of the questions all at once. And there's this misconception that creates disconnection, that to actually show emotive, ness, I don't know if that's a word, but equals vulnerability, which means that people won't trust you. And that's actually the opposite of what's actually true. When we tell ourselves that we have to be guarded and we have to be strong and we have to appear like we have all the answers, even when we don't, we have to fake it till we make it, that is felt. And that isn't true, therefore that is untrustworthy, and that is felt in the system of your recipients, of those you're trying to connect with. So that actually equates to less trust. So, and the opposite of that is to stand up, for example, I'm just using like an example, but an example to stand up and say, hey, we don't have all the answers right now, and we're searching for them, or we're doing X, Y, and Z to get them. And I'm a little, uncertain myself, or this is unprecedented, so it's scary, and I understand that, and I can feel that sometimes too. And here's what else is true, right? Here's the reassurance, here's the guidance, here's the facts, here's all the things. And that, I'm doing a poor job at explaining that, but that is trustworthy because that is authentically real and true, and people feel that. The nervous system speaks, and your energy speaks. And so having the courage, and that also takes great courage. At Crisis Ready, we have this formula for doing this, which is validate the emotions, relate to what matters, and then come in with your proof. But in the proof piece, in the facts piece, you have provide reassurance, provide hope, and have courage. Courage to be an emotive human. Courage to not be perfect, because you're not. Sorry, you're not. No one is. And so there's that aspect of vulnerability that creates connection and trust. There's also the aspect of vulnerability that is even more challenging for leaders, is being vulnerable with a community of people who are worthy of your trust and your vulnerability, that you can go to, so your support system essentially, that you can go to and speak truth to, right? This is what's on your heart, or this is what you're worried about, or these are the challenges that you're faced with. And it's wild. It's wild because I continuously learn this, right? Even for myself. I have this community, I have several communities of incredible humans that I'm so blessed to have. One of them in particular is my business community, right? I mentioned them yesterday. We call ourselves the Delulus because Delulu is the Salulu. I just love it. However, it's wild the more vulnerable we are with each other, which means we share our wins, we share our strategy, strategic challenges, and we do all of the business things together, but at the same time we share our moments of shit, I feel insecure today, or I'm having a lot of doubt today, today is just not a strong day for me, or whatever it might be. And the amount, I think that we often look at other leaders and we go, they have it all together. They have all the answers. They're perfect on paper. They look amazing. They're probably soaring through life with ease and all these things. And it's likely not true. And what that does is that creates more disconnection, and that creates more opportunity for you to then blame and shame and guilt yourself for not being in the like equivalent to the idea of what you think those other leaders are. And when we really start to kind of have, I'm going to be very clear about this, have a safe network, have a safe community of people that you can go to and be real with, right? Which might be hard to find. And if you're looking for that, check out check out the mastermind at melissaagnes.com, because that is exactly what we create for mission-driven leaders, is this community, this level of support and more. But when you have that, you start to realize that like when you're courageous enough to be vulnerable and to share what's real for you, all of a sudden, what you notice, what you experience is that the other people in your community, all those other leaders, then feel safe enough. We talked about safety last week or the week before. Then feel safe enough to go, oh, she's being real with me, he's being real with me, they're being real with me. I can meet that. And here's my truth. And then all of a sudden, you don't have the illusions that aren't actually true or real. You see that what you're struggling with is human, and you feel supported. So that in and of itself feels incredible and can give you like renewed strength and renewed vitality to like go after the things you're here to do. It also helps you, from my perspective, like it helps me release some of the guilt or the shame or the dialogue in my head of like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing enough, or people are more advanced than me, right? We all have those types of narratives. And all of a sudden you start to see other leaders and go, oh, this is normal, and I'm supported, and this isn't a sob fest where we wallow in our sorrow. So it's not that at all. Instead, it's this, hey, I can meet you there. Here's my truth too. Now let's rise together. And that is an extremely powerful and potent asset to your leadership and to the mission that you are here to achieve or to tackle. So that's what I wanted to share today. And if you have questions, please write them. I do want to take a moment and answer your questions. But ultimately, that's what I wanted to share today. And I will restate that the mastermind that I have that is opening up, the doors close April 7th. And so it starts April 8th. And it is a maximum of 20 extremely high level senior leaders, like people doing the hard work, people who have been successful, who are achieving or going after even more, and want the somatic support, want the energetic support, want to tap into more than just their logical brain and gain access to the other levels and intelligence centers of wisdom that we possess, that society has taught us how to access, as well as have this safe community of support of like-minded, like-hearted, powerful leaders who are doing impossible things and have that level of support that I'm talking about today from that vulnerability, quote unquote, vulnerability standpoint. If you want to learn more about that, go to melissaagnes.com it's called the Visionary Leadership Mastermind, because doors are open now, and this is such a powerful, powerful, powerful room and community to be a part of. There's a retreat involved, which is so luxurious and juicy and expansive, as well as all kinds of other things. So that being said, let's do our drop-in if you guys don't have any questions. And if you do, because I see people are joining on LinkedIn, if you do, please ask them, what do you think about this? Do you have a community of support where you can actually, as the leader that you are, show up and be real in? They say that it's isolating on top. It's only isolating on top because we've been taught to appear to have it all together and to never let anybody see us wobble. But you wobble, and that's why it's isolating. And so to have that community of support is such a backbone, an amplifier of your leadership capabilities, of your leadership expansion, and allows you to serve more deeply in the mission that you're here serving. It's so important, and yet it's so not talked about, and it's wild. And like I said, I'm a part of one. And I shared yesterday that I had some moments of wobble in the morning, And I got really vulnerable with this group, and it felt uncomfortable, but I told myself, I was like, this is our commitment, this is our promise, because we stated this promise when we formed this group. And I was like, this is my responsibility to show up and be real. And that led to, over the last 24 hours, the most expansive conversations that haven't just helped me feel better and feel supported, but have given new ways of viewing things and approaching things and living things, life in general, business, that then fills me with so much gratitude. And I realize, like, holy moly, we've been taught not to do this, and yet this is a superpower. So if you don't already have this community, get one. Get one. Challenge yourself. It takes, they call the vulnerability hangover for a reason, because sometimes when we're vulnerable, we then for the next few days are like, our whole nervous system is recalibrating to, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Right? Was that stupid? Am I going to be judged? Am I going to be shunned? Am I going to, all these different narratives. And our system takes a while to recalibrate. But when you actually do this in a community of support, in a community that is dedicated to having your back and to relating to you, and that you guys are on that same level of playing field of like driving your missions forward and the important work that you're here to do, your nervous system actually recalibrates when you're supported, when you're met there. It recalibrates, and you as a leader become more courageous in your vulnerability, in your leadership, which means that you create deeper safety with those you're leading, which means you create deeper connection, deeper trust, deeper credibility, and you amplify your leadership. It's really, really important, and it's wildly supportive and beneficial. So again, for those of you joining, if this is like, if you're sitting here going like, I want that and I don't have that, go to melissaagnes.com and check out the mastermind. Our doors are currently open. We are only taking 20 leaders. It is a year-long program. It has a luxurious retreat, and you will be in a room of incredible leaders. So networking is through the, off the charts, as well as learning the curriculum of the Crisis Ready certification and just like different things. It's so expansive. So that's melissaagnes.com. Okay, let's do our drop-in. Let's do our drop-in. What is a drop-in? A drop-in is when we take 10 minutes to connect, get out of your brain, out of your analytical thinking, out of stress, out of anxiety, out of concern, out of worry, out of fear, into your body, where you find wholeness, where you find peace, where you find clarity to the answers that you will not get by living only in your brain. And all we do is breathe. So all it is breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, following my voice, and doing whatever feels right to your body. Gifting yourself these 10 minutes so that you can step into the rest of your day in your power, in alignment, and in clarity. All right, so getting comfortable. If you are driving, please don't do this. This is unsafe. Come back to the recording, which is available to you for free, at least for now. And if you are able to do this, but you're kind of in public, maybe you're at a cafe or a WeWork or in an office with a window and you're feeling a little silly, invitation to feel silly and do it anyway, because it will serve you and you'll be leading by example, because every nervous system is seeking regulation, and we co-regulate. So when you come out of this and you're in regulation, other people feel it. They trust you more. You create safety. Then they wonder how you do that. And then you get to tell them, hey, I do these morning lives with Melissa Agnes every morning, and it sets my day off on the right tone. And you get to lead by example. So that being said, getting comfortable, getting still, shutting down your eyes or softening your gaze, whatever feels most supportive to you. And let's start that breath. It's in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if your mind kicks in and starts thinking, that's great. It means that you're alive. Just come back to your breath. Come back to my voice. So on your next exhale, whenever that is, let's follow that breath all the way down through your body and to your sit bones. Bringing your awareness, your consciousness, to feel into the sensation of the seat that you're sitting on against your skin. Just feel into it. Just bringing your awareness there. Notice what the sensations are. Notice where you might feel them more. And notice how sturdy that seat is, that it will not drop you, which means in this moment you are safe to be and you are safe to breathe. And on your next inhale through the nose, following that breath all the way up to your heart space, and let's land there. So we're going to do some heart breathing, which is in and out through the heart. So you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, but you're imagining that it is your heart that is in fact breathing in and out. So as you breathe in through the nose, expanding your chest cavity, expanding your rib cage, opening up, taking in that air, letting it feel so good. And on your exhale through the mouth, just letting that circulate through your body, bringing it into your body. And this is the breath pattern we're going to do today. This is in through the nose, opening up that heart space, out through the mouth, letting it circulate and deepen into your body, letting it feel so good, so calming, so expansive. Maybe you want to notice your heart rhythm. As you breathe in through the nose, expanding that heart space, out through the mouth, deepening into your body. Maybe just notice your heartbeat. And focusing on just slowing it down, letting your breath slow your heartbeat down. When we do this type of breathing, we are signaling to our nervous system that you are safe, that you're able to rest, that you're able to be still, that you're able to self-resource. When our brain is active, and there's so much going on, and there's so much stress, and there's so many unknowns that you have to have answers to, and you're leading through them, the unknowns, and all of these things that keep the brain active pretty much 24/7. And then we remember to slow our breath and to focus on the breath, to breathe in through the nose, expanding that heart space, and out through the mouth, deepening into the body. All of a sudden, you signal to your nervous system something different than those worried-based, fear-based thoughts. And you give your body the opportunity to rest in safety, because this breath signals that you are safe, which in turn helps to take you out of your mind, where you might be searching for solutions all the time to all the challenges and all the problems. And when we do that, and we get into coherence, because that's what you're doing, you're getting into brain-heart coherence, all of a sudden, you actually open yourself up to the answers that you're seeking. The brain is but one of our intelligence centers, and it is not the wisest. It is the processor. Wisdom actually comes from the heart and the gut brains. And we can only access the heart and the gut brains when we're in our bodies. And we get into our bodies by breathing in through the nose, focusing on expanding that heart space, and out through the mouth, sinking more and more deeply, if you want to focus on a place on your solar plexus, sinking more and more deeply with every breath into your body, into your belly, and keeping that breath flowing. So this practice actually makes you smarter. This practice actually makes you wiser. This practice actually makes you more strategic. This practice actually makes you more trustworthy. It makes you more potent and resonant as a leader. Keeping that breath flowing for another minute or so. How much more can you open up your heart space as you inhale in? And how much more deeply can you sink into your body as you exhale out of your mouth? Just play. What does it feel like? Notice what you notice. What do you notice? There is no wrong. There is open curiosity, exploration, and a deepening of the connection that you have with the infinite wisdom and divine intelligence that comes in through your body. And on your next inhale in through the nose, bringing a hand to your heart if you don't already have one there. And taking a moment of gratitude. Just feeling grateful for whatever it is that you have to feel grateful for, which I imagine, no matter what, is a lot of things. Just choose one. Deep gratitude. I'm grateful to be here every morning with you, because I believe that this is a way to make the world a better place. And I'm grateful that you show up and do this with me. And when you're ready, coming back to the moment, coming back to the screen, if you feel called, I would love to hear how that experience was for you. There's no wrong answers. And before we go to the rest of our day, just kind of a reminder that the dictionary has it wrong. Or the dictionary doesn't have it completely right. That's a better way to say that. Vulnerability can mean weakness in some areas where you are exposed, but vulnerability in humanity, in having a safe place and having safety in yourself to show up as you truly are, takes great courage. It is not weakness. It is great strength. And it is so expansive in so many ways. And we can talk another day about what that looks like outwardly as you lead. But for you as the leader, to have a community of other leaders who are out there with similar, not even necessarily similar missions, but similar like bigness of the missions on their hearts, moving mountains just like you are. To have a community where you can be seen in your truth, in all of what might be present in any given moment, and be met with support so that you can stop doing what so many of us do, which is compare and think that other people are in a better position or a better place or have it more put together than we do. And all that does is create more, self-distrust. It creates more feeling guilty or shameful or insecure or like an imposter. And none of these things serve your mission. And honestly, none of them are probably true. So having that community where you can show up and say, hey, I'm feeling wobbly today in this area, and then being met there, and you get to realize that you are not alone in that. And because you're in a community of powerful leaders, you get to actually leverage that to your advantage and rise even higher in all kinds of ways. That is something that you should be equipping yourself with, and you should be, I will say should, in this context, because if more leaders did this, the world would be a better place. So, should be challenging yourself to expand more into, to explore more of? Where is a safe place where you can actually be you, in your all of you, in your wholeness, as a leader who's out there moving mountains, and be supported and met there? And how good could that feel to not feel so isolated, to not feel so alone at the top? How expansive could that be? Not just for you as a human, but for you as a leader and for your mission that you're here to lead. That's what I'm leaving you with today. And if you have thoughts or experiences or questions, please send them to me. And I also invite you to take a look at the Visionary Leadership Mastermind, which is this support system for mission-driven leaders. And you will find the doors are open now. They did close on April 7th because the next cohort kicks off on April 8th. And you can go to melissaagnes.com and click on Visionary Leadership Mastermind at the top and go and read more about it and apply. It's by application only because I am very guarded about this container and who comes in, because it needs to be exactly what I'm talking about, that same level of playing field and support system, expanding together, growing together, doing even strengthening your leadership capabilities together, all of us together, not just you, but me too. All right, that's what I'll leave you with, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. If this resonated with you today, please share it. If you know somebody who that would benefit from either this morning live, the drop-in, or the Visionary Mastermind, or all of the above, Visionary Leadership Mastermind, please send them my info. Share this with them. And on that note, I will see you tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. live on LinkedIn and IG for another morning live with me, Melissa Agnes. I am grateful for you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.